Hi guys, welcome back to the Further Travel podcast where we talk all things travelling further to Thailand, Bali and many more destinations. I'm Harry and I'm joined with someone who's actually in office, which is so fantastic. I'm joined with Maty.
Hello everyone, very nice to meet you all. Very happy to be on was it the second or the third Further Travel podcast?
I think it's the third now. Yeah.
So that's quite interesting for me, especially considering I love travel as well. So
exactly.
Very happy to be here, and we're very excited to see what happens.
Totally. I think it'll be good, Maty, if you can kind of just like explain to everyone watching kind of what you do here first off at Further, and then just dive into like just the amount of countries you've been to. I feel like that's the elephant in the room.
I agree. I have been to quite a lot of countries over the last 2-3 years, but obviously I am very passionate about travel myself. I won't lie to you, Harry. I started here about 7 months ago, and I'm part of the sales and ops sort of role here at Further Travel, sort of trying to influence other people to come travelling for the first time, you know. From my perspective, I feel like everyone should go and do at least a couple of weeks, couple of months travelling, especially in Southeast Asia, because it is amazing if you've never been. I get to talk about travel all day. I get to talk to people who are also, you know, a bit nervous about going for the first time, but also have, you know, that bit of initiative to go, you know what, let's just go and do it. And it's amazing to see.
Because you are the expert at solo traveling. I mean, how many countries have you been to in total?
So in my whole life, I've been to 47 countries, so almost a third of the world.
I was going to say, how many countries is there in the world?
190, I think.
Oh my God.
I could be wrong, but I think it's 190, so I'm almost at a third. And I've always had a passion for travel, to be fair, Harry. Even from a young lad, like, you know, funnily enough, I was in a completely different job role before I started working here at camp, Thailand, Further Travel, etc. And it's only really grown for me. My love for travel has only really, you know, exponentially got bigger and better. And I'll be honest, as you said, you know, I started my big trip. I went for 18 months.
Wow.
And I went to 24 countries. So it was really good. It was really amazing. It was scary. you know,
I can imagine.
I was 22 when I went, so it was quite, you know, I was nervous to go and sort of put myself out there. You know, as a young lad, you know, away from home of Greater Manchester. But it worked out definitely in my favour. You know, I ended up meeting some of my best friends now. Travelled all the way around Southeast Asia, and then ended up in Australia. Spent 3 months there. And then obviously further travelled over to New Zealand. Fiji also came into that bracket, which is very beautiful. Very beautiful. And then for the last 10 or 11 months I spent in South and Central America. So honestly, like, if there is anyone that is listening to this podcast, like, just sometimes you've got to just break out your own bubble, and I just think you should definitely go and have a little look at travelling. I was going to say, like, what was the determining factor when you were that age to then be like, no, you know what, I am going to go away for 18 months? It's such a big question because, you know what, right, I thought in my head that I've always, as I said before, I've always been interested in travel, right, but I'd never really knew, like, where I actually wanted to go. I'd always, like, researched when I was little, when I was a little bit younger. And then a big influence was my parents and my sister. They was like, you know what, I wish I had the opportunity to go at your age, and I didn't. Now you've got the opportunity to go, because it's so freely to travel if you're from, you know, the UK, whatever it was, the Commonwealth. And I thought, you know what, like, I'm young enough to do it. I'm young enough to go and experience it, and I want to be fit and healthy whilst I'm travelling anyway. I just went and did it. It was just like a clicked decision in my brain that was like, just go and see what it's all about. And it was the best decision I ever made. You know, a lot of people these days, in my opinion, you know, I'm starting to realise that how easy it is to actually just go away for a couple of months, couple of weeks, couple of months at a time. Because it's normal now, isn't it? Everyone wants to do it. It is, and it's nice to see though, because, you know, like, I don't know about yourself, but my parents, they never really got that opportunity to travel to Thailand or Vietnam or even Australia, because I'll be honest, it is far away. It's not round the corner, so it is a very big decision in your life to decide, right, actually, I want to go and just take this next step. But you know what? It was, for me, the best decision I ever made. And I'll be honest, I didn't actually want to come back to the UK. I bet. The coldness of the UK. Who does? You know what I mean? It's just so freezing. I was always happier, like, when I was travelling around. Had some amazing times, amazing stories. I was nervous though. You know, I'll give you one scenario. Like, when I first left, right, so obviously I went from London Gatwick Airport. Me and my mum was down there. I remember just looking at her, like, you know, like waving her off, like as I departed into, you know, the next section, just literally in tears, thinking, have I made the wrong decision here? Like this, you know what I mean? I'm literally throwing. Not at the time, I thought I was throwing my life away, but then when I actually got to the first destination, which was Thailand, all the worry and all the scariness and all the nerves just went straight over my head, and I was like, I'm Operation Travel mode. Yeah. And it was amazing, Harry.
I think everyone feels like that when they go anywhere for the first time by themselves, especially. Yeah. Because I remember when I went to America with AmeriCamp, like my first year, I was so excited to go, but you do just get that little inkling when you're in the airport and you like finally leave your family and you're like, oh my God, why have I done this? Like, everything's going to go wrong. And you're just like your worst critic. Yeah. But then I feel like when you're actually nestled there and you start to grow your independence, that's when you're like, no, like, I'm totally fine. And then you get the bug to just go.
That's what I mean. And now I've got the bug entirely, and I just want to travel further, and I want to go and do more things. And I feel like...
And you are.
And I am, yeah.
Tell everyone where you're going
I am. So, obviously, well, from this recording, on the 4th of December, I will be going to Argentina. To spend a couple of weeks there, because I've got some really good friends there, and it was one of my favourite countries I travelled to. And then I'm going to depart from Buenos Aires, Argentina, to Australia, hopefully setting up a little bit of a nice life for myself.
Yeah. Living the life.
Living the life. I'm very excited for this, and I'll be honest, since I come back from my trip, I've never really felt as... I've never really been able to fit in very well. Like, I've not been able to just sort of adjust to the norm. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I have struggled with that. I won't even lie. Like, I've been sat at home, you know, it's just going from seeing so many amazing things.
It's tough.
To then going back to some sort of, like, you know, normal, mundane life, which is completely fine.
Yeah.
But because I've seen so much and I've experienced so much, I don't mean to seem arrogant, but I just want to go and do it even more, and I want my life 100%. To be like that.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I'm 25 years old as well. Like, you know, I'm not old, but I'm not entirely young. I'm not 19, 20, 21. But it just makes me think, and it just goes to show that
puts it into perspective.
And I think for the future, I can definitely see myself settling in a foreign country, just because I'm so obsessed with travel. Like, I've enjoyed working at camp and obviously at Further Travel as well, and it's just really made me think, like, well, obviously I love to talk about it, but I also love to live it even a little bit more, if you know what I mean by that.
And just hopefully you'll be able to live somewhere abroad and still like tell everyone about it, so you'll get the best of both worlds as well.
No, I completely agree. It was, you know, it's sometimes you've just got to take that plunge in your life. Like, obviously, you know, the main common factor why I ended up was to go travelling was definitely, I'd probably say my parents, because they never got to go. But I always, as I said before, I'd always wanted to just get myself out there and just see what happens. And it's not even like, you've done a lot of travelling yourself as well, though, so you know what it's like, you know how you feel.
So obviously you've travelled like so many countries. How many was it again?
24.
24.
In the 18-month period it was 24, but in my whole life it was 47.
So 47. Out of 47 countries that you've travelled to, what's been your favourite country?
My favourite country that I've travelled to, it's a big question, and I always normally break it down by 3, but I'll give you the top one.
Okay.
I'd probably say Guatemala, Central America, was number 1.
Nice.
And that is because there's so much to see there. There's a volcano called Volcan Acatenango where you can hike for 2 days and see absolutely amazing, you know, lava spurts every couple of minutes.
God.
It's something out of this world, Harry. I'm not even going to lie to you. You're literally you sat there taking in the view of the clouds, the mist going over, and you see the volcano just in front of you. I've never experienced anything like that in my life. Honestly, like, I've seen a lot of things. I've skydived, you know, I've done this, you know, I've done, like, been to Mexico and seen the Chichen Itza where, you know, amazing temples, but that in Guatemala was definitely the best thing I've seen. Best country I've been. The lifestyle there is very calm, quiet and relaxed. The people are super friendly. You have to know a little bit of Spanish, which I did struggle with, I can't lie. So I did, you know, I was there for a month, and by that point, you know, I was still struggling a little bit learning and speaking Spanish, but the locals did take me in and sort of help me and develop my skills. So it was really nice, actually.
Nice.
And then I'd say number 2, it's hard. I'd probably say Colombia. I really like Central and South America, I won't lie. It's Colombia just because there's so much to see there, and like a lot in the press it does get a bad rep, but genuinely it's a beautiful place. It's very, very very, very warm, which obviously I love. I'm I'm a type of creature that loves
That's why we hated in Manchester.
That's why we hated it.
Today it's about -2 degrees, everyone.
It is freezing weather in Manchester. So the weather in Colombia is gorgeous, and they've got like the ocean blue sea, which is very close to like like the Jamaican Sea coming over, or the Caribbean Sea. I apologise. It is absolutely gorgeous.
Nice.
And then I'd probably say for number 3, I'd probably say Thailand, Thailand. I'd say Thailand because it's a great, for me, Thailand was the first destination I went to, but it was a great way to introduce my way into the travel sort of space.
Yeah.
Because it's so, it's very dominant by tourism these days, and it really like the Thai people. Harry, if you've ever been or you ever get to go,
I'll have to go.
Honestly, they are the friendliest people you will ever meet in your entire life. It is so lovely. Like I made so many nice friends whilst I was in Thailand that I've still talked to now.
Amazing.
And it's like, hopefully in the future, when I go to Australia, we'll be able to meet in the middle.
So obviously you sell Thailand, Bali pretty much every day, and it's good that you say that Thailand is a good introduction to solo travel destination. But why in particular do you think our trips, would you say, because you sell them every day?
No, of course.
Why do you think our trips are good for an intro?
You know what? I would say our trips are the best for solo travelers because you get so much comfortability. Like the itinerary is already created for you, so I think it makes life so much easier. You don't even have to lift your finger. The only thing you have to do is get yourself to Thailand until as soon as you get to Bangkok, Phuket, whichever trip you decide to do, right? The local team and will literally show their expertise, navigate you around the country. Any issues or questions you have along the trip, they'll be there for you. And I feel like a lot of people these days who are a bit nervous to go and travel, they're able to get that comfortability and that sensibility where they're actually being met by someone in the airport, by our team, by our camps team, and I just think it's so nice to see. And also, we're solo travelers ourselves. We've created these trips. We know what works and we know what's best.
Yeah, we wouldn't be selling it if we didn't think it would work.
Of course. Like, we'd be the first ones to critique the trips if we didn't enjoy it. And I just feel like that it's, honestly, for me, the comfortability. And also, we handpick the best hotels. We handpick the best destinations because we know there's a lot. Thailand's a big country, right? And there's a lot to see. And I feel like, for me personally, one trip that I would absolutely love to try would definitely be the ultimate adventure. The 21-day trip where you get to see the majority of the country. You go to the best places. You eat the best food. You go to the best night markets, especially the one in Krabi.
This is Thailand, by the way.
This is Thailand, by the way, just to make you aware. And I think that is one trip that I would definitely look at. Honestly, it looks amazing, and the people there, honestly, I can't tell you how nice they are. Even I'd actually put the Thai people at the top of the friendliness.
So I've heard. I've heard genuinely. Everyone over there is so nice.
Because it's a country that really it relies on tourism. So they need the people to sort of go and spend the money there. And over the last I'd probably say 5 to 10 year span, people have decided actually it is quite a desirable destination. Yes, it's a far flight, but why not if you can?
Well, everywhere is nowadays.
Exactly.
If you don't want to go to Europe for a city break, you're going to have to travel.
Yeah, exactly.
Anywhere. Yeah,
100%. If you're a young person, and you're listening to this, I just think just have a little look at your life and sort of make a decision based on what you really want to do. If you're interested in travel, just take a little plunge for it. It doesn't have to be forever. It's just a few weeks and you'll really become a lot more well-rounded as a person, I'd say, and a lot wiser. Because I'll be honest, when I was younger, I was off the rocks sometimes, a bit crazy, and it really grounded me, and I'd definitely say it made me a better person.
Yeah, and it doesn't even matter where you go. We're not telling everyone you have to go to Thailand for your first trip.
Anywhere.
Some people go to Prague or Krakow because it's short, and then obviously I went to America, which isn't as far as Thailand and stuff, but now that I've done America for 2 years, I'm no, I could go to somewhere in Asia because I feel I've got the confidence and the independence to do it now.
Of course, and it's so nice to hear that, you know what I mean? A lot of people you know, obviously will be also in your position. They've gone to America, you know, AmeriCamp, for example, or like not even just like the camps, just going for a couple of weeks on holiday. I think it's just such a cool thing to do. May I ask, Harry, did you go to America solo yourself? Did you not go with anyone else when you went to do?
So obviously I did AmeriCamp, but because of my camp, because it was so big, we had like a group chat before we went. So I didn't know anyone prior to going, but then because of our group chat, we we're talking to each other. Then it was like, oh, are you going to New York before? And it was like, yeah, I am. So we ended up, there was probably like, the first year I went, probably like 20 of us in New York all together. Like first timers in New York, and it was just absolute like madness.
Yeah,
like
it is. It is.
Times Square.
I can imagine you walking around New York and literally the buildings make you feel like you're going to fall over yourself.
But it's so funny because you get so desensitized to it as well. 100%. Like if I go back to Manhattan now, I'm just like, it's just like going to York for the day.
Yeah,
like,
no, of course.
Which sounds so first world problem.
No, it does, but it does. Yeah,
exactly.
But when you've experienced it, no, I agree. Like it becomes the first world problem, but it's like it's so big, it's so wow factor at the time. Then you do become desensitized to it. It's actually mad. When I was traveling, I wouldn't say I would become desensitized to everything, but when you've seen one thing, you've seen a lot of things. But when, as I said before about this volcano in Guatemala, it was literally the crazy. That really blew my marbles, blew my mind up, and it was crazy. It's crazy. But I'm so happy that you actually did America. That's really good to hear.
It was so good.
And obviously, for future, obviously you clearly said you'd go to Asia next time.
Yeah.
What would one desirable place in Asia, like where would you like to actually visit?
See, mine would have to be Bali.
I think
so? Because obviously I've worked in travel for like 7-8 years now, and Bali's just always been that place that I just think captures so many like people's eyes. They're like, oh my god, that looks gorgeous. And there's just something about it. I just love like Ubud, the monkey forest. I just love all the infinity pools. And like it just looks gorgeous, and it'd be good because it's such a good stepping stone destination to get to Australia.
100%.
And I'm like, oh, what like a dream.
A lot of people actually, it's funny you say that, so a lot of people will actually go to Southeast Asia to do a little bit of travel and then move to Australia, because it's from Bali especially, from Bali Denpasar to Perth, it's a 3-hour flight.
Oh my god.
So it's, you know,
imagine that being on your doorstep.
I know, imagine Bali being on your doorstep.
And we've got Benidorm.
I know.
Like what?
We've got Benidorm and they've got Bali. It's an absolute hoo-ha at this
crazy
stage.
I know,
but you know what, it's beautiful, and Bali is also a very nice destination. It's very, very humid, Southeast Asia, and Bali in particular. When I was there, I was in, I think it may have been December, January time, and it's, oh wow, I was literally, remember sat in a bar in a hostel called Lushy Hostel in Canggu, just sat there on my own, like having a cocktail. I think it might have been not a cocktail, it was a vodka orange, and I was just sweating, I weren't even moving around.
And
I was
that's in like
melting.
not even high season.
High season. It was that hot. It was that hot. Like you go outside, you literally, it was crazy.
Oh my god,
it was crazy. But it was an experience. You know what I mean? Because Bali and in particular Southeast Asia, it's quite close to the equator, so it is just regularly hot anyway.
Exactly.
Whereas unfortunately in Manchester, we might have blue skies today, but it's still pretty cold.
It is so cold. What was it when you went to Bali and when you went to Southeast Asia? Obviously, it's quite a culture shock compared to the UK. So what were the things that kind of kept you sane when you were over there? Like what are your tips when you go over to Southeast Asia to like make you not feel, I guess, as overwhelmed?
What, you know what, right, and this is very simple to say, and it's probably been regurgitated a million times. Get yourself to the 7-Eleven and just get something comfortable like a ham and cheese toasty. You have to.
Everyone raves about 7-Eleven.
Honestly,
I'm like,
the 7-Eleven ham and cheese toasties, Harry, they're absolute unbelievable.
I did a podcast yesterday and Amy literally said the exact same thing. She was like, I got a ham and cheese toasty and they warmed it up, and I was like,
they do. They literally, people are creatures of habit and they want a little bit of home, don't they?
Yeah.
So I would definitely say 7-Eleven, just go and get something comfortable, something warm, like ham and cheese toasty, like a nice fizzy Coca-Cola or whatever it may be. It is a home comfort. Because obviously you're not going to get your local Tesco, you're not going to be able to go use your local club card in Tesco or go to Asda.
You can't even do that in America.
Exactly.
Horrible.
So, and obviously a lot of people, a lot of people don't like Thai food. A lot of people do like Thai food.
Yeah.
But the good thing is, they have the options to have continental food anyway.
Exactly.
So you don't have to just eat Thai food 24/7. There is McDonald's, there is this and that.
Which is a good reason that it's getting a little bit westernized.
I think so.
Because you're never gonna lose the culture and the history of Southeast Asia, but you need some home comfort.
You
so
do,
when people complain,
you do.
I'm just like, at least for the fussy eaters, there's
no,
stuff there.
Of course, you know, if you really want your chicken nuggets and chips, that can definitely be made for you.
Exactly.
Like, they're never going to say no to you.
No.
But one thing I would say is, if you are a fussy eater, for example, which I've got some friends who are, and have been to Thailand, I would just give it a little try. Just try stuff from the night markets. You can try the pad thai, you can try the pho, you can try the pad see ew. You can Google all this, by the way. You can try spring rolls over there, are even different. Wow. Like, you know, they've got veggie spring rolls, they've got pork spring rolls. It's just amazing.
Sounds
it is really gorgeous. And to be honest, Harry knows this quite well because we work in the office together. I am a foodie. I love eating. I mean, you could probably tell right now, but no, it is great. It is really good. And I would honestly, Harry, I definitely go to Thailand or Bali. I think with Bali, for me, still a very nice destination. It was... The food that I had there was very more curry orientated and was very, very sort of spicier food. But I would say Bali is even more westernized than Thailand because it's so close to Australia. It's got a lot of Australian culture now there. A lot of Aussies there, so it is very nice. It is beautiful. I feel like what Australia is to Bali now is like just a lovely breakaway, getaway. Do you know what I mean? It's like our Spain, like, you know, 2 hours, that's their Bali.
I can't believe that's their
it's crazy.
Local Spain.
It's crazy.
Like, that is nuts, isn't it?
And it is ridiculously cheap. It's ridiculously cheap and it's gorgeous. Like some of the places that you'll be able to go to, like the Nusa Penida, Ubud, where the rice fields are, the greenery, the conservation there, it's really, really nice. So I definitely recommend Bali. There's so much about travel that I absolutely love. The one place I didn't actually particularly like was in South America. I thought I'd bring this up. I weren't a big fan of Chile, surprisingly.
Tell me why.
I'd probably say because I just felt it was a very dark, grey and a gloomy place. I don't feel like it offered too much in terms of infrastructure, so getting around was really hard work. The bus systems were very hard work. You've got to understand, like, I've been travelling for like 14 months at this point, so
just can't be bothered.
Sometimes you can't be bothered, and you just want to be able to get a taxi here, get a taxi there, and the infrastructure was not very good. The one thing that did save it, obviously, unfortunately I didn't get to go this time round, but I'll hopefully go in the future, would be the Patagonia. So the Patagonia is at the south of the country, and it is honestly unbelievable. It's I can't even describe it to you. It's literally the best mountain range in the southern hemisphere. It's beautiful. I didn't get to go, but as obviously because it's like quite close to Chile. Chile is quite close to Argentina. I'm going to go in the next couple of weeks, so expect some photos into the group chat.
And we'll post them on the social media.
But yeah, Chile was probably the only place that I thought maybe not return back there. Cool. But yeah, it was good.
Very nice.
Amazing, Harry.
I'm gonna divulge a bit now, and I'm gonna go into kind of what we do here as well. Is I want your perspective on why you would kind of recommend someone to kind of book through us on one of our, like, Thailand, Bali, Vietnam, any trips from you, because obviously you've been here a while now and you know it inside out. So I feel like you're the best person to kind of tell people who are watching why we are the people to go to.
No, I agree. It's a good question, Harry, and you know what? I would definitely say if you are a first-time traveller and you're looking to either book on via yourself or look at a group tour, I feel the way where Further Travel especially differs from other companies is their unique selling point of volunteering and the sense of comfortability. So on a couple of our tours, well, most of our tours or trips, we have great volunteering in South Africa where we actually are making a difference out there. We're not a company that's money orientated. We actually want to give back and actually help people who are in need. And I feel that's becoming more prevalent in our next sort of trips. Even in Thailand and in Bali, you can do volunteering in schools, turtle conservation, sanctuaries, etc. And I feel that's where we sort of break away from our competitors, because the comfortability and the volunteering is on a next level. And the good thing is we've got even more to come, because we are releasing more dates soon, 4 more trips, more destinations as well. And I feel
coming
that's
soon.
Coming soon. So I definitely look into that when you do have the opportunity. But honestly, Harry, the volunteering is definitely amazing. Especially the one that I've seen recently, where it's become a bit more prominent in South Africa, where you see these little children's faces on what amazing. We are doing for them in these communities. You know, they're in these townships and they don't get what we get. You know what I mean? And it's so nice to see where they're actually smiley faces. They've got colouring books. They've got, you know, fresh water. They've got this. They've got that. And it's something that I think should definitely stick as the core value of this business. Definitely.
Oh. Spoken like a true salesperson, Maty is. No, that's amazing, Maty, and obviously thank you for kind of doing the podcast today as well. I think people will really benefit from just hearing where you've been and your tips and stuff. Maty's like a walking atlas, everyone. Like, he knows every country in the world. So if anyone has any questions, please just drop Maty a message. Like, I'm sure he would not mind.
I do not mind. No, any time of the day, I'd be more than happy to help you.
Totally. And if anyone has any questions kind of regarding further travel or any tour that we do, or even just solo travel tips, like, Maty is here for a little longer.
Yeah, of course,
But yeah, you can always speak to us on social media, you can give us a call, you can email us, and we'll be happy to help. But I don't know if there's anything else that you want to kind of go over, Maty, but
I mean, I think I've got quite a lot of it out there, definitely. You know, I've got one of the main reasons why I wanted to come work for this business, because I'm interested in travel. And I feel like, what more do you want to do?
We get to talk about it all day.
You get to talk about it all day.
Exactly.
You really do.
I know. So yeah, I just want to say thank you everyone for watching and listening as well, and we'll see you next time on the Further Travel Podcast. So bye everybody.
Bye.
Woo!